100 years ago, when the spiritual energy revived, it transformed into the most fundamental source of energy in this world. Creatures enhanced by spiritual energy evolved in two directions, one returning to the primal instincts of their ancestors, bursting with physical strength, while the other mutated into intelligent beings specializing in energy attacks. Among humanity under the influence of spiritual energy, countless professions emerged, and the phone screen displayed the words Spirit Beast Observer with 37 million followers. Tap to view details of the profession. Tap to see the requirements for the next qualification, Spirit Talent Analyst. With 69 million followers, tap to view details of the profession. Tap to view the qualification requirements. Fingers glided over the screen and paused, intently examining the information about the cursed shadow of Mao. What should I do if it bites me? As a person possessing a spiritual profession, one cannot lack a worthy spirit beast. Buy it now for just $999,998, and you might get a chance to receive a supreme treasure. Immediately, Lam Vien thought, with me, everything is useless. He mumbled, don't panic. Drink plenty of warm water, lie in a breezy place, and avoid the stench of corpses. Just then, a trembling cat paw fell onto him, accompanied by a wheezing breath. So hot, Lam Vien exclaimed. The self-proclaimed intelligent creature belonged to the Baiwen beast species, swiftly climbing onto Lam Vien's head. Surprised, Lam Vien asked, what are you doing? It lazily replied, I heard that the higher up will be cooler. Upon hearing this, he frowned in annoyance. It's just a tiny bit higher. Intelligent jumped up, pulled the door to the side, and stood close to the window facing the wind while grumbling, there's wind, don't forget to take your medicine. Lam Vien nodded, I know. The sound of the door closing echoed sharply as he held a broom to sweep the trash, introducing himself. I am Lam Vien, 18 years old, the owner of a tiny spirit beast shop, even though humanity can use spiritual energy. It promotes the growth of creatures, but for me, that is as distant as drifting clouds. Since childhood, he had been weak at 52 years old. He had completely lost the ability to sense spiritual energy and could not enhance his body like ordinary people. Moreover, I can't sign a contract with a high-level spirit beast. He bent down, staring intently at a small plant pot. Lam Vien sighed softly. Just covering it with cloth isn't enough. In this heat, there's no suitable way to cool it down. Intelligence suddenly perked up, commenting, it's about to wither away. That plant pot belonged to the common lily variety with common quality, a low-level spirit beast. Lam Vien raised his hand to block some sunlight, sympathizing. Poor thing, it's a low-level healing spirit food type with weak competition, even inferior to the feed for livestock. He cradled the plant pot, contemplating that after the revival of spiritual energy, all spirit beasts were classified by rank and quality, with those below bronze considered low-level. Hardly anyone was willing to spend resources nurturing low-level spirit beasts. Why? Because high-level spirit beasts evolved much more easily than low-level ones. For hundreds of years, he had never heard of any Baiwen beast evolving. Just then, the sound of chirping birds echoed from the sky. Here's your medicine, Lam Vien said. The small bird named Am, a type of soundbird, saw him, and Lam Vien smiled gently. Am, you've worked hard. After saying that, he fell into deep thought. It seems that my body has only signed contracts with intelligent and am the lowest level. It's been a headache for half a month, let alone sensing spiritual energy to train them for upgrades. An hour later, both Lam Vien and Intelligent sat blankly in front of the plant stall. It sighed and asked, do humans really love to sleep in? Why is the street so deserted? He frowned in annoyance. What nonsense are you talking about? Lam Vien decided to shout, everyone come take a look. Today we have exceptionally well-grown green radishes. A little girl, hearing his voice, turned her head back. She widened her eyes in surprise. Mom, come see this Baiwen beast, looks just like our Kaka. Intelligent grinned widely, welcoming them. May I ask if you would like to buy some green radishes? The three-dimensional cat in the little girl's arms glanced at Intelligent with a mocking tone. This Baiwen beast looks so dry and shabby. How could it possibly compare to me? Intelligent fluffed up its fur, growling in frustration. What do you mean, shabby? It's clear that the beast of knowledge is skilled, so let's play rock, paper, scissors to determine the winner. Seeing the atmosphere tense like a guitar string, Lam Vien hurriedly rushed over to hug it soothingly, saying not to be angry, suggesting they play rock, paper, scissors so he could take it outside for some fresh air to lighten the mood. Thong Min pouted and asked, isn't the shop doing fine? He pulled the door open while replying, it's fine, we aren't selling anything anyway. as it waved its arms behind him, whining for Lam Vien to go buy some meat. "Eating a few more pieces of braised meat will make me much smarter," he said. "That way we definitely won't lose again." Lam Vien made a helpless face looking at Thong Min, who didn't dare to promise but said, "Yes, good luck," as he walked along the empty road with two spirit beasts leisurely. The sound of wings flapping above Thong Min seriously comforted him, saying not to be sad. Even if he wasn't as smart as other beasts of knowledge, he was still cheap, and it whimpered with tears. "Was saying that only makes my heart ache more." Lam Vien, walking behind, sighed heavily. "If only I could sense the spiritual energy, that would be great." Suddenly, Thong Min shouted, "Lam Vien, look to the left." He quickly turned his head, astonished to see the armored pig appear near the park. Could it be that the livestock farm was in trouble? Just then, Thong Min dashed forward with a greedy expression. "Look, 50 servings of wild braised meat!" Lam Vien exclaimed in shock. "What are you doing? You want to get yourself killed." "Thong Min, you can't defeat it!" The armored pig glared and roared, and he thought to himself, terrified that it would get angry. The armored pig was originally a very gentle spirit beast. According to Thong Min's logic, it shouldn't be provoked, but events unfolded too quickly for Lam Vien to think. The armored pig charged straight at him, and Lam Vien hugged Thong Min while running, panting heavily. "Today is even more exhausting than yesterday." Thong Min, worried, asked Lam Vien, "Are you okay?" Suddenly, Lam Vien slipped and fell forward, causing Thong Min to panic and shout, "Lam Vien, I will protect you!" Thong Min also fluffed up its fur, yelling, "Braised meat is delicious, let's dive in." Lam Vien struggled to stop the two small spirit beasts. "No, you can't fight yet, you all run." Suddenly, a strange feeling washed over him, making him look up wide-eyed. This place. Just then, a voice called out to him. Lam Vien glanced over while thinking, "Could this bronze ring be the one I lost when I was 8 after it got stained with blood it disappeared?" Lam Vien's wrist flashed with a small light as he raised his hand high to let the golden ring illuminate his whole body. Lam Vien gradually realized he could feel it again. It had returned. The spiritual energy he hadn't sensed since he was 8 years old was back. Lam Vien struggled to stand up, and at that moment, he was wearing the golden ring from earlier. Thong Min, being chased by the armored pig, saw him safe and exclaimed, "Lam Vien, you're awake!" The sound of wings flapping above was urgent. "Quickly think of a way to escape!" First, the armored pig charged towards Thong Min, causing it to be terrified. "No, even with this bit of spiritual energy, I can't do anything." Just then, the ring on Lam Vien's hand shone brightly. His gaze sharpened. The armored pig was rushing towards him. The introduction of the spirit beast, armored pig-type spirit beast, level 3. Common level defensive system, common quality. Lam Vien cheered internally, "I see it clearly now." The information appeared in detail, yet it was level 3, while Thong Min hadn't even reached level 1. Thinking this, he shouted loudly, "Quick, get out of the way, Thong Min, it's attacking from the right." Just as the armored pig charged, Thong Min, having listened to Lam Vien, managed to dodge in time, screaming in fear. Lam Vien clenched his jaw, feeling anxious. This isn't good. Even though he dodged the charge, the gap was too wide. Superior strength was needed. "If you were my contracted spirit beast." Just then, the urgent voice from above shouted, "Don't harm Thong Min!" The light from the body of the urgent spirit merged with the light from the ring, causing Lam Vien to freeze. This light was identical. The two beams resonated, causing the armored pig to writhe in pain and become stiff. Every movement of Lam Vien suddenly realized how they might evolve thanks to the power of this ring. Not long after, the armored pig charged forward with a roar that echoed, causing Am and Thong Min to tremble. Thong Min's throat was much larger than his. Lam Vien's eyes flashed with determination. No way. Even though both were on the brink of evolution, the gap between level 1 and level 3 was still a chasm, like this pig charging forward relentlessly, forcing Thong Min to acknowledge it. The cat's meat braised in clay pot was incredibly fierce. Am panikedly cried for help. What should Lam Vien do now? At this moment, Lam Vien shouted loudly, "Quickly sing," to attract its attention. Any note would do as long as it was loud enough. He hurriedly replied, Okay, let me try." The disjointed notes from Am caused the armored pig to go into chaos, and Lam Vien quickly covered his ears, helplessly thinking. Fortunately, he had endured more than 4 previous training sessions. The armored pig turned back angrily, looking at Am, who was flapping its wings chaotically while crying, "So I did this to let Thong Min rest for a while." Or else, Lam Vien said in a deep voice, turn around and attack its eyes. If you can blind it, we can stop." Amam regained composure, spread its wings, and responded, "Watch me." Strange, the technique from before couldn't be used anymore. Lam Vien gritted his teeth, slammed his hands on the ground, silently cursing. "Damn it, my mental energy is running low at just the right moment, so I consider this a plea for you to hold on a little longer." As soon as he finished speaking, Amam was astonished, swearing it felt powerful again. "Here, take a look at this move." It flapped its wings continuously, feathers flying everywhere, hitting the eyes of the armored pig. Taking that opportunity, Lam Vien shouted loudly. Now Thong Min quickly attack, nimbly jump over the small feathers. Thong Min leapt up, saying, "Don't worry, Lam Vien, I am Thong Min." Of course, I have to attack both Am and Thong Min simultaneously with its snout. After saying that, Thong Min rushed in, scratching the face of the armored pig. As it fell over, Thong Min had already run in another direction, spinning around to look at Lam Vien, asking him, "We won, right?" He trembled as he replied, "Yes, you guys are really amazing. You made it run away without its shoes." As soon as he finished speaking, Lam Vien collapsed, and Amam panikedly called his name, Lam Vien. After being hit, the armored pig immediately ran away on all fours. Its pig hooves screeched to a halt, and while gently stroking the rabbit in its arms, it coldly said, "I wonder why I feel strange lately. Why is there an armored pig here?" Suddenly, Aunt Chung's eyes widened in surprise as she looked at the feather still stuck to the armored pig. She said, "That feather belonged to that little kid from the Lee family. Go find him. I'll look for the little one first." Uncle Lee agreed. "Hurry up and go bother him." The scene shifted, and Lam Vien opened his eyes wide, thinking to himself, "Is it this place again? Since the first time I dreamed of this space. I don't know how long it has been." Looking at the giant golden ring hovering in front of him, he smiled slightly. "Though a bit late, I still have to thank you for sharing your mental energy." At the critical moment, the light from the ring shone brighter, as if responding to Lam Vien's words. He scanned the area, estimating that it was about 40 to 50 square meters wide. Could it be the space inside the spirit beast? Lam Vien lowered his head and asked, "Is this ring your ability, Mobius?" The system window appeared with important information. "A spirit beast named Mobius. Type Mobius, spirit beast. Spirit beast level 1, common quality. Spirit beast quality common. System space system, mysterious system. 1 skill data realism." All the complex information that the naked eye could not resolve could be encompassed in the data realism, which could contain reality that the surface could not decipher. 4 stabilization skills were passive. It could enhance the stabilization effect as the spirit beast level increased. Stabilization could calm the mind and had a certain immunity to negative states. Lam Vien pondered thoughtfully. "I once saw this realistic data skill. The focus skill isn't just to help with singing, right? Wait, does that mean the exclusive trait usually only available to bronze level has been possessed by a common item? Could you be an extremely rare legendary item? Or a kind of illusion?" Lam Vien fixated on the system's exclusive trait text, radiating a Mobius space that can nurture a level 2 creature at the beginning of its life in Mobius. No more than the Mobius level 3. Mobius does not self-upgrade its level. It increases when the creature inside levels up while inheriting the starting skill of that creature. However, Mobius itself will not receive new skills. Each time Mobius levels up, the number of creatures that can be raised increases with an unchanging upgrade method. Reading this, Lam Vien suddenly stiffened. "Wait, does that mean I can currently only sign a contract for a common level 1 spirit beast? Moreover, to level up Mobius, I have to train them to level 10. Raising low-level spirit beasts already consumes a terrifying amount of resources. No matter how rich, one can go broke in an instant. Not to mention I'm dirt poor." He shook his head vigorously and told himself that having something is better than nothing. "At least now I can feel the spiritual power. Who knows, the future might change unexpectedly." A familiar voice rang out. "Didn't the doctor say it only stimulates the spirit? Just mild symptoms of weakness, right? Why hasn't he woken up after almost half a day?" Lam Vien frowned, recognizing Aunt Truong's voice. "It seems I have to go outside." As soon as he opened his eyes, 2 warm, furry lumps pressed down on his face. Thong Min and Chu Seo Lam Vien meowed hoo-hoo. He jumped up, laughing awkwardly while rubbing its head. "I'm fine. Why are you so worried that I'm stuttering?" Aunt Truong sighed in relief. "Finally, you're awake." The gentle doctor smiled. "Auntie was very anxious. Let me check again to be sure." Lam Vien skillfully shook his head. "No need." Aunt Truong frowned. "Little Vien, you've been in a coma for nearly 10 hours. If you're sick, you must be treated. Don't let it get worse." Hearing that Lam Vien had to lie back down, "Yes, Aunt Truong." In his mind, he silently thought that although Aunt Truong took care of him and the two kids, the matter of signing a contract with Mobius should still be kept secret. Suddenly, a fish swam past his line of sight. The system immediately displayed information spirit beast named Tan Duong Li type, carp level 4, elite water attribute quality exquisite. A skilled tail whip using the tail to strike restoring mental wounds and soothing abnormal states. Lam Vien secretly marveled, no doubt an elite, such a rare skill. Aunt Truong finished checking and turned to the doctor. It's fine, I'm going home now, my wife is waiting for dinner. Aunt Truong hurriedly thanked him. Thank you very much, doctor. Just then, Uncle Lai, holding a lunchbox, walked in with a clatter. Time to eat, time to eat. Receiving the smaller lunchbox, Aunt Truong instructed, Little Vien, this is nutritious food, specially cooked by Uncle Lai for you. If you don't behave, don't expect to eat. Lam Vien smiled awkwardly. Who would dare Aunt Truong? As soon as the box was open, Thong Min squealed, Wow, braised meat! And An was equally excited, so fragrant, so fragrant. Lam Vien looked at Aunt Truong holding Uncle Lee and thought, Uncle Lee's child is always mysterious, not as lively as his peers. Let's see. The system immediately displayed the spirit beast's name. Type level attribute quality skill exclusive trait. Lam Vien's eyes widened with question marks. Isn't it really Uncle Light? Heavy footsteps echoed on the road. Lam Vien's face was dotted with sweat. He ran, panting, I can't keep up with the training. After being discharged from the hospital for a few days, he ran slowly every morning for an hour. This intensity was still too much because he had no spiritual energy to train since childhood. He gave up fighting and switched to a healthier lifestyle. Suddenly, Aunt Truong pushed Uncle Lee's wheelchair over. He smiled. Little Vien up early to practice, huh? Lam Vien raised his thin arm. Yes, sir. To be healthy and beautiful, you must exercise. Yes, the system flashed beside Uncle Lai. Source of the ancient bone-level platinum or higher toxin-infused mixed with spiritual curses. Looking at the swarm of protozoa crawling on Lam's shirt, he shuddered at the thought of the sacrificial protozoa that had given themselves to become the cursed spell that locked the terrifying poison around his calves all year round. This spirit profession is at least at the king level, with the top being King ABCD. He frowned. If so, that big guy is just like Uncle Lee, heavily injured and disguised for treatment. The hidden talent is really deep. Aunt Truong pushed the cart and reminded the little one to call if anything happened. If the kid pays any fees, don't bear it alone. Lam waved politely. Aunt, don't worry. Watching the two figures gradually disappear, he smiled softly. Since that day, Uncle Lee has always taken care of him, and the little one healing the wounds. He hoped he could do it too. After a while, Lam pushed the door home. The small plant had grown bigger. The spirit beast was a species of the lily family, the type of taro. The third-level common class of herbal quality was elite. Lam was startled. The elite quality had still been common last night. How had it leveled up? He secretly guessed that his spirit energy had not been detected outside. But flowing through himself, it stimulated the spirit beast to absorb and evolve. He had to try again, increasing the difficulty, choosing the lily type for healing, paying attention to the lowest level of the spirit. Almost purely a plant, only used as livestock feed. Lam placed his hand on it, channeling energy, and the system immediately changed the name of the spirit beast to Lily. Type 6, a species of the medicinal family, the type of stone, lotus petal. Level 6, first-class elite, related to wood with common quality healing skill, recovering from external injuries with a gentle herbal fragrance that soothes tense emotions. Lam grinned, widely successful. Elite Lily with this skill. At least 100 times the price. He rushed up the stairs, excitedly calling, Thong Min, wake up and see this. Joyfully, Lam seemed to say, we leveled up. Thong Min jumped into his arms, and the system displayed new information naming the spirit beast as the cat type, a chirus species, level 4 second-class common with 5 mental system qualities, all common. 7 skills, precise memory, remembering every small detail. Thong Min proudly recalled a piece of braised meat. Now he remembered 30 pieces. Lam also changed the name of the spirit beast to Sound. The species of the blue magpie, a fish divination type, level 3, common with sound quality, common skill. My singing has improved a lot. La la la. Lam hugged Thong Min tightly. Not bad, I found the golden hand. Getting rich. Thong Min tilted his head. Golden hand, what is a golden hand? Suddenly Lam froze, his eyes wide open. Wait, not only getting rich, the spirit has evolved, which is extremely difficult. Except for a few natural ones, most need the founder to consume precious materials and spirit medicine to push to the limit for a chance of success. I can only rely on myself. Such a terrifying trick must have countless eyes watching. If I'm careless, a big tree will fall in the wind. Right now, I can't even protect myself, so I can't expose it. To be safe, I must gradually become a founder using this profession to shield myself for the long term. Otherwise, I will bring disaster upon myself. Thinking this way, he tightened his fists and called out to Thongmin Lam Vien. Lam Vien, the phone is ringing, the kid is calling. He was startled. Ah, thank you, he thought to himself. Counting the days, the kid was about to sign the first spirit contract. He picked up the phone, hands on his hips. Hello, Kid Ha. The voice on the other end was clear. Hey, you haven't called for 2 days. Are you well? Lam replied gently. I'm much better than before. Today I even plan to clean the backyard. What you can't stand, the spirit energy enhancement. How can you stand cleaning? Wait until I get back, Lam reassured. Just a light cleaning, nothing heavy. Don't worry, I'm not weak. Remember, our agreement: study hard at school, don't waste your talent. Yes, she replied, silent for a long time after his words. Then she whispered firmly, yes, I know. Hanging up, she tightened her grip on the phone, her eyes burning with determination. Hey, I won't let you down. That afternoon in class, the teacher's crisp voice echoed in the still air. Yes, the suitable range for each combat profession is different. You all have to sign contracts with your first spirit in the past 2 days. How important is this matter? I won't exaggerate further. Although the quality and level of the spirit are decisive, the level of the person with the spirit profession will also affect the combat power that the spirit can exert. The suitable scope of each combat profession varies. If the spirit beast does not align with oneself, it is very difficult to successfully sign a contract. It can even damage one's mental strength. Even professions like craftsmen and weavers need to train and understand their spirit beasts over a long period. Only then can the spiritual materials merge. Moreover, our class focuses on nurturing individuals with combat professions, which requires meticulous consideration of the spirit beasts. When the school bell rang, the students rushed out shouting goodbye. Just as she was about to leave, the teacher called her back. So too, please stay for a moment. I really haven't considered this. Are you thinking of changing the spirit beast you want to sign a contract with? I understand your family situation, but you have an extremely high talent. The selection for the Federation's Bach 2 is coming up soon. You absolutely cannot miss this opportunity. So Tu lowered her head hesitantly. Teacher, that afternoon at Lam Vien's house, there was a lot of excitement. It was a huge success. 3 pots of lily have leveled up to elite. Each one is worth at least 20,000 Federation dollars. Now there's hope to buy a high-level spirit beast contract for the little one. Suddenly the phone vibrated violently. Lam Vien guessed the strange number might be a new visitor. It was just the right time for a sleepy head to meet a soft pillow. He picked up the phone and politely asked, Hello, who is this? The voice on the other end flowed like a stream. Are you So Tu's parent? Do you know this child intends to sign a contract with a common armored bug? Such a wonderful talent should not be wasted. Hearing this, Lam Vien's eyes widened in shock. The armored bug is a common spirit beast with only 200 attack power but weak skills. No one wants to sign a contract with it as it only serves as bait for high-level insect-eating beasts. Seeing him silent, the teacher continued, The suitable range for So Tu with spirit beasts is all defensive-type spirit beasts with such qualities. I fear that in the entire city of Tu Kin, there are not many. It would be best for the parents to prepare an elite defensive spirit beast as the first contract for her. Lam Vien hurriedly replied, Yes, thank you, teacher. In 2 days, I will definitely bring a suitable spirit beast to school. He silently calculated that an elite level would cost at least 100,000 Federation dollars. Time is of the essence. He must cultivate the common bell to elite and exchange it for a top-tier elite defensive spirit beast for the little one by the next morning. At the bus station, Lam Vien's face was pale, breathing heavily, feeling like his body was drained after transmitting spiritual energy all night, but he was just in time. The spirit beast market is mixed with good and bad. He should still hide a fan just in case. Lam Vien raised his head slightly, whispering worriedly, Thongmin, you definitely want to follow right. Thongmin popped out from Lam Vien's hat, grinning widely. Of course. The reason why Thongmin is at home is that Thongmin is a good boy. You can't coax me anymore. Bargaining is one of the responsibilities of Bak Van Thu. After hearing this, Lam Vien could only sigh in frustration. After leveling up, this little guy has started to rebel. Just as he thought, a voice from afar called out, "Driver, we've arrived. Guests, please wait in the yellow lane." Thong Min stared wide-eyed at the carriage in front. Completely confused, he wondered, "Why is this vehicle so different from the bus I know?" Lam Vien smiled and explained that what he read was just a history book, not a modern traffic navigation tool. After the spiritual energy recovered for 100 years, spirit beasts had long replaced some machinery and steel. Once the passengers boarded, the driver reminded in a warm voice, "Hold on tight, the horse is about to take off." Thong Min was blown outside by the wind, but fortunately Lam Vien caught him just in time. "Meow, run fast." The driver glanced at Lam Vien and casually asked, "Young man, aren't you going to the spirit beast market? Today seems to be just the right time." Lam Vien, curious, exclaimed, "Why is there a new spirit beast available?" The driver immediately replied, "Haven't you read the news? 2 days ago in the outskirts, 30 miles from the lower district, a dimensional rift opened up. I heard there are still 3 teams of Tukin guards stationed nearby. It took the Guardian of the Dead 2 days and 2 nights to completely eliminate the strange creatures that emerged from the dimensional rift, managing to control the situation of this dimensional crack." Lam Vien was astonished, repeating the 3 words "Guardian of the Dead," and the driver nodded, continuing, "This dimensional rift just happened to open near a training base for spirit beasts. The young ones either died or were injured. Several staff members rushed outside to set up stalls in the market selling the injured spirit beasts that were left over." Thong Min Chen muttered, realizing that the armored pig had run out like that. The driver was still chattering away, especially about the armored pig. "A few of them ran out yesterday, and I managed to buy one at a bargain price just as the food was being served and the firecrackers were going off. The children of all ages in the village scrambled to grab everything and hang it up to make smoked meat." Lam Vien praised his brother, saying, "You're still strong, so please take us to the intersection closest to that stall." He secretly rejoiced in his heart, thinking that the severely injured spirit beasts would definitely not be too expensive and could be bought at a bargain. Moments later, Lam Vien and Thong Min had arrived at the market area. The noise and excitement made Thong Min's eyes shine brightly as he eagerly said, "All right, next, let me handle it. Lam Vien, what spirit beast do we want to buy and how much do we want?" Lam Vien helplessly replied, "A defensive-type spirit beast of elite level costs at least 100,000 federal dollars. Upon hearing this, he exclaimed in shock, "But my savings haven't even reached 20,000 yet." He shrugged, grinning. "So we need to use the bronze bell and the lily of the valley that just leveled up last night to change the tone. Thong Min, be careful. It will definitely be borrowed by someone else. A common bronze bell costs around 1,500 to 3,000. Lam Vien glanced at the small potted plants that were continuously emitting light filled with curiosity. These plants were calling out to him. Now he could clearly feel the instinctive approach and rejection from other spirit beasts. The lighter the emitted light, the more familiar the breath felt. However, how could the compatibility of the bronze bell, Li Min Lan, and the snow lily be so broad? The healing system and support system were quite compatible. The plant-type spirit beasts were also instinctively close. The compatibility direction of this little guy was a defensive system, and Lam Vien was lost in thought. Thong Min's voice suddenly rang out, "Lam Vien, look at this!" A strong young man was selling an item for 80,000. Thong Min offered 1,000, and the young man lowered it to 70,000. Thong Min raised it slightly to 75,000, and he frowned in annoyance. 60,000 is my final offer." Thong Min made a final offer of 20,000. If not, he wouldn't buy any more. The system window flashed, displaying detailed information about the armored rabbit spirit beast of the rabbit family, the mountain rabbit type. It was an elite level 1 defensive spirit beast with 6 common qualities. Its skill-tough skin produced a layer of scaly skin outside the human skin, signing a contract to help block damage. Lam Vien hurriedly rushed over, hugging Thong Min, tightly burying his face in embarrassment. I'm sorry. My pet is too rude." The young man selling the item clicked his tongue in annoyance, and Thong Min pouted, retorting, "What are you doing? If we continue to bargain, I'm sure I can buy it for 20,000. He leaned close to its ear and whispered, "Do you understand the price comparison?" The information about the little turtle included the spirit beast, the landscape turtle of the turtle family, the land turtle type, a common level 3, defensive spirit beast with common qualities and the skill to enlarge its own size. It protected the contract signer behind it, helping to block damage. Lam Vien squinted his expression, showing regret. The level wasn't enough, and there was no time to help it level up. Thong Min nodded in agreement. It's too slow to move. The next spirit beast information appeared the U-sheep pig of the armored family, the poor-tooth type, an elite level 1 defensive spirit beast with common qualities. Its skill curling allowed it to curl into a ball, relying on rolling for physical movement, helping the contract signer block damage. Lam Vien shook his head helplessly. It was no different from the armored rabbit. Thong Min grimaced, showing disdain. If that's the case, it can't protect the little guy right. Or should we consider that armored rabbit? He reassured, let me think a bit more. Lam Vien carefully considered looking around and finally found one worth noting, the gazing sheep spirit beast. It belonged to the goat family, the Shiva type, an elite level 7 magma system spirit beast with perfect quality and the skill to resist and shake its large horns on its head to defend. Looking at those tender young vines, Lam Vien nodded in satisfaction. A young one with perfect quality that also knew the skill to control the senses. The information repeated the gazing sheep spirit beast belonging to the goat family, the flower type. Level 7 elite magma system with perfect quality defensive skills using a large horn on the head to resist and defend, transmitting vibrations through the horn to attack the target's body. Withstanding high-frequency shocks produces a paralyzing effect. Lin Vien Hao Shang shouted, "Hey, how about 100,000 for each?" Thong Min was stunned. 100,000. The boss lightly lifted the newspaper, sleepily replied, "Wait, I need to call my wife." Thong Min grumbled, "I already checked the price online yesterday. Banjak Duong only needs about 50,000. Even for rare items, around 90,000 would be enough. You're acting like a nouveau riche." The boss focused on the phone call, occasionally mumbling, "Okay." Lam Vien explained to Thong Min, "This is called negotiating in good faith. You're still inexperienced." After hanging up, the boss decisively stated, 120,000 federal coins, no less. He sighed deeply, thinking to himself how unlucky he was. Lam Vien was disappointed. "I think there are no other defensive spirit beasts left here." Thong Min suggested that if it really wasn't possible, they could only accept the price difference to buy this Banjiak Duong. This was because a young man in the distance was gathering a lively crowd around a small stall. A tall, cheerful man declared, "Thank you all for your support these past few days. Now the meat of the spirit beasts has sold out for those who couldn't buy. I want to apologize to everyone right here." The people around murmured in regret. "Why is it all gone, boss? I see there are still a few injured spirit beasts inside. Why don't we just butcher them?" Another person nodded in agreement. "That's right, who knows when we'll have another opportunity like this." Lam Vien perked up his ears immediately, his eyes sparkled like stars. "Hey, injured spirit beasts." Thong Min nudged him kindly, reminding, "This isn't the time to be thinking about butchering brother." Duong apologized to everyone. "We're not butchering the ones inside. Sorry for making you wait so long. If you're interested, you can come inside to take a look. There are only 3 left, and they're very cheap." A dissatisfied customer spoke up. "Is there a mistake? Injured spirit beasts, and you're not butchering them to eat. What if we buy them? How can we treat them? Who has the money to invite the founder?" Everyone dispersed. The goods are sold out. Noticing Lam Vien approaching, Duong hurriedly reminded the young man, "You're late. The meat is all sold out. This stall won't sell spirit beast meat anymore." Lam Vien replied seriously, "Boss, I'm not here to buy meat. I want to see the spirit beasts inside." He thought to himself that the boss was clearly flustered during such times. Haggling could lead to being kicked out. Luckily, he was different now. The bracelet he wore with the calming skill helped him stay unusually calm. Duong squinted and smiled friendly. "Young man, I'm not much older than you. Just call me Duong." Bargaining a wrong step could lead to being kicked out, but now he is different. The bracelet he wears has a centering skill that helps him stay unusually calm. Duong squints and smiles friendly. "The boy, I'm not much older than you. Just call me Duong. Inside, there are 3 spirit beasts that are severely injured. I'm taking you to see them as you can see. Inside are 2 web-spinning beasts that at first glance still seem strong, but their bellies have been torn open. With this condition, they can hardly survive more than 2 days. Thong Min pinched his nose and exclaimed, "It smells terrible." The creature in the cage is introduced as a web-spinning beast of the Pung species belonging to the family of bloated bellies, elite level 10, unique quality, perfect attributes, and skills during movement. It will spit sharp spider silk that is hard to detect along the way. 4 poisonous web spinners shot a poisonous net forward. Lam Vien observed carefully and quickly assessed that if it weren't for the dimensional crack opening, it wouldn't be long before they would reach the bronze rank. He excitedly asked if they weren't injured, selling on the spirit web would fetch at least 300,000 federal coins, right? Brother Duong laughed and replied that there are still few support-type spirit beasts like this, which can both control and have poison. Such types would sell for a higher price. But now these two together for 150,000 federal coins is already very good. Lam Vien immediately suggested to Brother Duong that he wanted to buy these 2 web-spinning beasts. However, I don't have enough money on me. I wonder if I can exchange them for spirit beasts. Brother Duong's face slightly darkened. He didn't hide anything from you. After dealing with these spirit beasts, they will be used to open a base for breeding. Spirit beasts starting all over again. So the spirit beasts you want to exchange for, I might not need? In his heart, Brother Duong sighed. Children are still children, and I really shouldn't hope for too much. Lam Vien immediately quoted a price. What if it was an elite-level silver horn? Brother Duong frowned. You want to exchange an elite silver horn? I wonder what the quality of your silver horn is like. Lam Vien smiled and said he was very confident in its quality. If needed, Brother Duong could come to my place to check it out first. Brother Duong, hearing this, pondered for a moment about the elite-level silver horn. The elite silver horn is an extremely rare plant on the market. Anyone who wants to buy it must pay double the original price. If this boy is telling the truth, he sighed softly. This is the last spirit beast I have left. It is also the one we have invested the most effort in, but now the 2 beasts you just brought out have information about the lava bull species belonging to the family of chi bulls. Elite level 10 Earth system epic quality with the skill of lava horns attached to 2 horns, launching an attack without caring about injuries, sacrificing when the contract signer takes damage. It will help actively distribute damage. Lam Vien's eyes sparkled. Brother Duong, how much are you preparing to sell this lava bull for? In his heart, he silently assessed. Epic quality is about to reach the bronze level, and it is a defensive spirit beast that is extremely suitable for the kid. Brother Duong rigidly asked again, are you serious? Its condition is not optimistic. But Lam Vien ignored this and pointed at the lava bull, praising it for being excellent at 20,000 federal coins. Brother Duong immediately turned pale. Do you have a way to cure this lava bull? In his mind, he briefly speculated. Could it be that behind him there is a founder? Brother Duong couldn't help but show astonishment. Little brother, are you saying you want to buy all 3 of these? Moreover, you also want to exchange an elite silver horn with me. Lam Vien replied succinctly, confidently. Brother Duong, trust me. The silver horn will not disappoint you. Thong Min chimed in, supporting Lam Vien. He won't deceive you. In the end, Brother Duong nodded. All right, I believe you, if you want to buy all 3 spirit beasts. Then we can pack up this stall. Later we will set off to see your silver horn. I also have a cage for spirit beasts to directly cage the lava bull and web-spinning beasts to take along. Saying that, Brother Duong threw an item towards Lam Vien. Thong Min curiously asked Lam Vien, what is this? He replied, it's a spirit beast cage, a privilege from the Ostrich Logistics. It can fit spirit beasts inside, sized appropriately for the spirit beast cage. The weight is also reduced, making it lighter and more convenient for transporting heavy spirit beasts. Thong Min widened his eyes in surprise. There's such a good thing. Why didn't you let us use it? Lam Vien waved his hand. We didn't have enough money to buy that before. Duong swallowed the spirit beast, shining light towards the Te Nam Ngu, and immediately it was sucked inside before the astonished eyes of Thong Min. Could such a large creature really have been stuffed in there? That's really impressive. An Duong exhaled a sigh. Swallowing this spirit beast was a second-tier spirit, but I fear that this Te Nam Ngu will never have the chance to level up to a second-tier spirit. Then he summoned a giant monster, the spirit beast Lu Quang Hoa Tish, a type of lizard with a crest, a lizard body with scales, level 7, second tier, 7 out of 10. Fire poison system 6, common qualities skill, bite and break. During the tearing process, it will intentionally break a tooth and bury it in the target's body, rolling and tearing. After biting, it will use its mouth as a center to spin its body, tearing into the target's flesh and bones, a unique characteristic of fire poison that grows additional poison glands. This causes the poison glands to connect with the salivary glands, making the saliva contain toxins that cause burns. 2 men held Lu Quang Hoa Tich's head, and An Duong smiled with delight. So my brother nurturing this Lu Quang Hoa Tich isn't bad, right? Lam Vien Duong praised with a thumbs up, admiring it while nodding. No wonder it's a second-tier spirit. The fire poison characteristic enhances attack methods, he thought to himself. Observing the second-tier spirit up close like this, it was previously hard to have such an opportunity. On the contrary, An Duong showed a cautious demeanor. Indeed, it was not simple. At such a young age, he had mastered in-depth knowledge of spirit-beast research. If it weren't for rare talent, there must be a master guiding him. This time, it seems I've made the right bet. Suddenly, from behind, An Duong heard someone call out, "Old Duong!" As he turned around, he faced the customer's anger. "Why did you suddenly call Lu Kwang Hoa Tik out here? My family is so scared they can't even eat." "My family's fairy is the same." An Duong scratched his head, feeling apologetic. I'm really sorry coming right now." Sitting on Lu Kwang Hoa Tik's back, An Duong smiled. "We're about to take off, hold on tight." Lu Kwang Hoa Tik stomped its foot on the ground and then shot off. Lam Vien sat behind, exclaiming, "This is faster than a train, way faster than a shoe." Thong Min screamed for help until they finally got home. An Duong then spoke, "Brother, you're closer than I imagined. Your health is really good. A normal person riding it for the first time wouldn't be able to hold it in and would want to vomit. But this is nothing compared to riding a flying spirit beast from above looking down at the ground. That's refreshing." Lam Vien was exhausted, breathing heavily. "I'm not doing anything. I should thank you. This is my first time riding a second-tier spirit." In the simple house, An Duong said, "Feel free to sit." He followed inside, looking around to assess the place. No matter how you look at it, it doesn't resemble the home of a recluse founder. If the quality of your Tan La doesn't meet the standard, my brother, I can only say that feelings are feelings and business is business. But when he looked at the pots of plants, An Duong felt like he was exploding. The founder must definitely be a founder of high-quality Tan La like this. Without the founder's assistance, it would absolutely be impossible. An Duong almost exclaimed, "This exceeds my expectations. All are elite quality. Even on the spiritual network, this is rare. I don't know how many merchants are selling one." Lam Vien immediately boasted before evolving. These Tan La were all planted in soil enriched with mineral energy, so the roots grew very well, and the quality surely had no issues. An Duong carefully examined the condition of the plants and thought to himself, the cut was juicy. Indeed, this young man was not lying. Elite quality could it be that old Duong is about to change his fortune? He suddenly remembered what the masked person had said. "What qualifications do you have to want to meet a master founder like me?" An Duong pondered. If he wanted to invite the founder, he must present a spirit material that the person liked. With his level, he surely had no chance to receive spirit materials. But if he had more connections with this friend? Seeing him silent for a while, Lam Vien asked, "Brother Duong, are you satisfied with this place?" He quickly nodded. Satisfied. Now let's talk about the price. To be honest, all the materials here are elite quality, top-notch, sold on the spiritual network. Even 30,000 is a sought-after price. The highest in my heart is 33,000. One pot gathers enough for 100 pots. I wonder if you and my brother have this quantity. Thong Min, upon hearing this, exclaimed like thunder in clear skies, 100 pots at 33,000, how much money is that? Lam Vien reassured him, it's all right. But actually, when no one is around, he thought that he needed a large quantity to elevate his profession. The spiritual material is naturally the most convenient. Brother Duong has been deep in thought all this time. This transaction, although not a small number, the young man's calm demeanor suggests he has experienced life. His ordinary appearance and this small shop must have some tricks. Blindfolded by the person behind him, he thought. Brother Duong then stood up, using the excuse to go outside for some fresh air. "I don't know how many days my brother needs to prepare the goods." Lam Vien smiled and replied 7 days. In his heart, he quietly calculated each pot takes 1 hour plus 2 days for the spiritual items for the kid, not counting rest time. 7 days is indeed the maximum limit. Brother Duong felt excited, secretly cheering, "Oh my, in adversity I find fortune. Old Duong, I am favored by heaven. Is my fate about to turn around so quickly? Indeed, it is the path to immortality." Lam Vien squinted, a bright smile on his face. "All right, Brother Duong, so you can come to pick up the goods in 7 days. Brother Duong nodded repeatedly, smiling brightly. Of course. But my brother, do you really not need a deposit for the remaining 70 pots?" "This little deposit my old brother still has." Lam Vien rubbed his hands generously. "No need, just come to pick up the goods at the agreed time and settle the payment then." Brother Duong stepped out the door, turned his head and waved. "My brother, I will come again in 7 days." Lam Vien also smiled back. Of course, Brother Duong, see you then. He thought to himself, the toughest challenges are about to begin. A moment later, in the backyard, the sound of wings fluttering filled the air. Exhausted from the night, Thong Min curiously asked, will he stay at our house for a long time? We can't afford to keep him. This time, Lam Vien was truly angry. Save him first, then we'll talk. You two come down here first. Lam Vien glared, his heart burning like fire. He is already extremely weak. We must act immediately. Spiritual energy flowed from his palm, and the wounds gradually healed. The more he looked, the more he smiled brightly. Great, let's speed up! He extended his palm, enveloping the spiritual energy towards the front. The entire body of the Tenamangu was wrapped in spiritual energy, and it cried out in pain. Lam Vien gaped, stunned. What is happening? Could this be the barrier to level up to bronze? We must break through this wall, little Ngu. Lam Vien stood firm, waiting for the dust to settle. A small crack appeared and then burst open. He poked his head out from his arm, shouting, Success! After the treatment, the beast stood upright, proud. Information about it quickly updated, Rhino-type spiritual beast, male level 1, bronze over 10 in the metal system. A common quality skill, metal spike. Attached to the 2 metal horns, the enhanced metal will trigger a self-destruct attack, disregarding injuries. 6 sacrifices when the contract signer takes damage will help the signer actively distribute the damage. Suddenly, Lam Vien's eyes widened in astonishment. Wait a minute. The system screen continued to display exclusive attributes waiting for selection. Lizard-like skin reinforced with an additional layer resembling armor scales similar to the composition of skin. While running fast, it can save stamina. Absorbing pain when taking damage will convert part of the damage force into life force. Lam Vien couldn't believe his eyes. And yet it can be chosen. He sat with his arms crossed, pondering over the 3 attributes to choose one. The first 2 sounded attractive, but it was hard to decide. This running skill, combined with a defensive spiritual beast, would indeed be redundant. The armored skin will surely grow a thick layer of scales to enhance defense during battle. The friction from the scales will also deal additional damage, but overall it still feels a bit forced. However, absorbing pain is completely different. Taking hits while absorbing damage to heal, isn't this a skill specifically for those tough brutes who get stronger the more they fight? I choose you to absorb pain. A transformation occurs as the system screen updates with new information about the rhino spirit, the iron bull, a species from the giant horned family of wild cattle. The spirit belongs to the same class 1 level above with a quality of 10. The skill Metallic Horn covers the 2 horns in metal enhancement to unleash a reckless charge, sacrificing 4 when the contracted individual is injured. Actively bear a portion of the damage instead of them. The unique trait Absorb Pain allows for absorbing part of the damage taken to convert it into vitality. Lam Vien watched it transform with pride. He quietly calculated that with clever coordination of Metallic Horn and Absorb Pain into a perfect loop, it would no longer be pure defense. Instead, it would become a powerful spirit disguised as defense. Lam Vien crossed his arms, smiling contentedly, using it as the first spirit for the kid. Truly a perfect choice to see which kid dares to sneak up on her again. Thong Min smacked his lips in curiosity. So this is the spirit of the Iron Bull. Isn't it the legendary Beauty and the Beast duo? Lam Vien shrugged nonchalantly. So what? The safety of the kid is the top priority. Besides, it's as if you're not that beast. He smirked subtly internally, affirming that it was indeed not wrong at all. Not only did the Iron Bull spirit break through the same class, but his own spiritual power also surged. The higher the level of the evolved spirit, the more abundant the spiritual power he received. Thong Min was being licked by it, his fluffy fur standing on end, shouting, "Don't you know you're heavy?" Lam Vien paid no attention as he was immersed in his own thoughts, having just helped the Iron Bull spirit break through its class. He was almost exhausted. He wondered what level a top-tier beast craftsman could reach by combining various rare materials. Thong Min was now drenched in saliva, helplessly asking how to send it to the kid. Lam Vien casually checked his phone and replied, "Ostrich Logistics, of course. This time, since I'm in a hurry, I placed an express order. They'll come to pick it up right away." Thong Min was immediately excited upon hearing this. "An express order? I can fly like the wind, too." "Awesome, I'm about to fly." That night at the Hui Nguye Palace, a soft voice echoed from within, 3 parts patchouli, 1 part deep sea wood, and 1 part blood essence of the platinum beast. The bluebird dropped a vial of liquid into that hand. Tu Kong hesitated and whispered, Lang Tu, the master of this matter. Lang Tu, coldly interrupted, cut the unnecessary words as they glanced at the small wooden stick falling into the vial. It immediately exploded. The Moon Empress pointed ahead, controlling the red object. At the same time, she spoke in a deep voice, thinking to herself, just the formulation alone has such terrifying power. It even forced her own protective spiritual energy to activate. This is the level of a 5-star beast craftsman. After completing it, the Moon Empress became one of the 3 5-star beast craftsmen of the Hui Dieu Federation. All right, summon the spirit beast. You want to evolve, go ahead. Tu Kong, Tu Kong, Tu Kong. The king-level expert clutched his chest and exhaled. Lang Tu, the master, turned to reassure him. I told you not to worry. He respectfully replied, Thank you, Your Highness, Moon Empress, without saying a word as the Moon Empress threw the newly formulated liquid towards the giant beast, gradually sucking the life force from its body. Causing its entire body to tremble and then collapse to the ground, Tu Kong, terrified, stammered, Your Highness, Moon Empress. She calmly explained, It's fine, it's evolving to the legendary level. You just need to merge the will of the runes you have comprehended to evolve into a fantasy species without holding power, respectfully bowing your head. Thank you, Lady Moon. I do not wish to exert myself for Lady Moon, even if it means entering boiling water. I will not deny that suddenly the beast opens its eyes wide, writhing and roaring, shaking the heavens and the earth. The roar caused a rabbit's ear to twitch slightly. The little rabbit sitting on the soft blanket let out a soft grunt. Its body still trembling incessantly, the sound of weeping echoed. Lady Moon coldly stated that while entering boiling water is unnecessary, the selection of master creators happens once every 3 years and only allows for sequential testing. So how can we select truly talented master creators? Does Lady Moon imply that this year's master creator exam can allow for advancement? Gently stroking the soft fur of the rabbit, Lady Moon decisively declared in an authoritative voice, Yes, it is sufficient to advance from level 1 to level 2. Anyone who passes the level 1 Master Creator exam within 2 hours will be exempt from 3 practical profession subjects and can directly participate in the level 2 exam. Send the order down. The person nodded in compliance. Yes, at this moment, Lang Tiao began to probe, his eyes flashing with brilliance. Do you feel that in recent years the Master Creator exams of the Federation have not found any young individuals with extraordinary talent, as even a bit of rune will is hard to comprehend, so you decided to reform? Lady Moon turned her face sharply, her voice icy as she replied. No, this is a personal matter between me and the 5-star Master Creator. Ju Jun and Lord Zun have both taken on disciples. Of course, I cannot fall behind those 2 old men. This statement left Lang Tiao wide-eyed in astonishment. She silently marveled that Lady Moon was about to take on a disciple. After a pause, Lady Moon spoke again, her voice firm. Furthermore, the tide of the other world is about to hit, and the city of Zijing is the place with the most water rifts. As the city lord, you must fulfill your duty to protect the land and the people. Each water rift must have someone guarding it. There must be no mistakes. Lang Tiao knelt on one knee, his voice resonating with respect. Please rest assured, as the head of the city, Lang Tiao will forever be the pillar of Zijing, the silver moonlight shining down on the ground. In the place where Lam Vien was riding the beast, the man suddenly broke the tranquil atmosphere. Are you okay, kid? Flying above the clouds will be more stable. Lam Vien retched his face pale as a ghost. I'm fine. The man smiled warmly. Your pet Bak Van is really clever, but unfortunately this trip is overloaded. If not, it should have been allowed to go along. The image of Thong Min just flashed in both their minds. It cried out loudly, meow, 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 I want to go, I want to go, I want to fly every day. This time only Lam Vien will fly alone. I cannot go. Meow, meow, hold on tight, Thong Min explained. Am I not letting you fly? Lam Vien stood beside, comforting Thong Min. Be good, I will bring back delicious food for you when I return. In reality, his face was pale, holding his neck, stammering, It's okay, there will be more opportunities. Suddenly, the man's eyes in front widened. Are we there yet, kid? Look carefully. Don't be afraid of the height. This is the famous scenic spot near our city of Zijing. It's your first time seeing it, right? Tonight, the moon is bright, so it's bearable. If it were pitch black, it would lose all charm. Lam Vien looked down with curious excitement. Yes, this is indeed a unique experience. The scenery poured neatly into Lam Vien's eyes. He sensed something condensing in his consciousness. This is the second will of the runes, capturing the majestic scenery in the depths of his eyes. Lam Vien clearly felt the strange transformation condensing in his consciousness. That is the will of the runes, it cannot be wrong. This is the will inscription representing the mountains and rivers completely suitable for the type of spirit beast you possess. The young man was in a daze for a long time when the man in front asked, "Are you okay?" Lam Vien came to his senses and quickly replied, "I'm fine. We've been flying in this mountain range for a while now. How much longer until we reach the city of the dead?" The man looked up at the sky and guessed it would be by morning. Lam Vien raised an eyebrow, puzzled. "Didn't you say we would arrive before dawn?" The man smiled wryly, explaining, "It's not because you want to go, is it? Besides, you were feeling nauseous earlier, so I adjusted the speed for you." Hearing this, he immediately covered his nose and waved his hand in protest, saying, "Don't worry about me, just go full speed ahead." The man shook his head helpless and had to comply with the customer's wishes. The next morning, the schoolyard was bustling with excitement as students chatted while walking. One student wondered if they were preparing to sign a contract with the spirit beast today. "Why are we at the training ground then?" The person next to him explained that it seemed they were adjusting the class schedule. After signing the contract with the spirit beast, there would be a practical combat class. The other student was still surprised, asking why the practical combat class was scheduled so much earlier. "I heard it's because they have to choose the dead from the 100. The schedule for all students had to be moved up to select truly talented individuals." Another student nodded in agreement, saying, Right. Earlier, a classmate from another school even sent me a message complaining when they saw the students had gathered. The teacher stood on the podium and declared loudly, "This class is the practical combat class for the 12th grade students, and also the first practical combat drill for the 10th grade combat class. Later, after you all sign the contract, you will draw lots to practice combat against the 12th grade students to get familiar with the skills of the spirit beasts. Everyone need not worry, the destination is just a stop." Upon hearing this, a blonde girl turned to her companion, worriedly exclaiming, "So, Sai, it's so tense, fighting against the 12th graders." After a pause, she hesitantly asked, "So, Sai, do you really want to sign a contract with the armored bug?" So Sai looked down at the box in his hand, his eyes resigned as he nodded. Inside was a tiny armored bug. After a series of competitions, the teacher waved his hand and shouted loudly the 8th practical combat draw. The result was as expected. The 10th grade student lost and ran out of the arena with victory belonging to the 12th grade. Witnessing this, a female student shouted in frustration, "It's not fair! We just signed the contract and already have to compete with seniors who have experience in practical combat." The situation was basically tilted to one side already. She turned to cheer for the little guy. "Next time it's your turn. You are the best student in our class. You must teach them a lesson." The teacher seemed unconcerned about the dissatisfaction. He waved his hand, calling for the next match. "Are you both ready for the 9th combat?" Then Feng Lihang stepped up with a smug expression, replying, "Of course." The students below began to murmur anxiously, "It's Feng Lihang. I heard his family has relatives working at the General Association. Is he trying to participate in the dead from the 100? It seems he only needs to pass a few more practical combats. It's a victory now. Isn't it true that the department's mascot is also highly regarded? I heard that the department's mascot has encountered some issues listening to those whispers." Feng Lei secretly chuckled in his heart. The founding guild had just released the latest news last night, and now he had met the road-paving stones that would help him sweep the odds. The victory was indeed a blessing from the heavens, not only from the classic Bakhtu, but even the myriad of items next month would be a trivial matter. He told himself that the day of the Qingyun March was not far away. Moreover, he had heard that this 10th grade girl from the department only signed contracts with the Hoi Jiap Trung, so she didn't even have a slight chance of winning. If she wanted to blame someone, she should blame her family's poor conditions. Such a waste of talent, but thinking about it, he sneered. Ha! On this side, the girl tightened the box in her hand, silently telling herself that even if it was just this Hoi Jiap Trung, she couldn't give up. After hesitating for a moment, she gathered her courage and exclaimed, "I'm ready." Just as she finished speaking, a voice called out from behind, and she turned around in surprise. The female teacher, struggling with a dog, hurriedly pushed it into her hands and advised her that she only had this level of ability. This Huangban Kuyen is at least an elite level. You can't let your talent be wasted on this Hoi Jiap Trung. The girl hesitated and didn't dare to accept it. "Teacher, I'm just at this moment." Lam Yuan jumped down from the stands and shouted loudly, "Wait!" Surprised, the girl looked up. Lam Yuan landed and hurriedly stopped the teacher's actions. "Thank you for your good intentions, teacher. I've brought the department's mascot here just in time." He turned to his sister with a determined gaze. "Little one signed the contract with it, trust me. As he spoke, he stuffed the box containing the summoned beast into her hands. However, the teacher looked skeptical and asked if it was trustworthy. If not, then you could at least try this Huangban Kuyen. Although it doesn't obey much before they could finish speaking, Feng Lei burst out laughing. All right, all right. It doesn't matter what the mascot is. Whether it's a Hoi Jap Trung, Huangban Kuyen, or another, it won't win. The Luke Vuong Trung that I nurtured since childhood is here. The mascot he summoned is the Luke Vuong Trung, a type of armored beetle larger than the Huangban Kuyen. Larger than the Luke Vuong Trung, it is at the bronze level, larger than the common type, higher quality and greater skill, concentrating power on the large horn on its head. It will perform a reckless attack, ignoring injuries while attacking with its might increased by 50%, and its unique trait allows it to see through the camouflage of the mascot. Seeing that it was at the bronze level and so large, the teacher began to sweat nervously, knowing that the Huangban Kuyen wouldn't be able to withstand it. Lam Yuan also felt tense as he observed that the opponent was already at the bronze level. With some strength, the girl hesitated, looking at the box in her hand, and quietly asked, "Brother, is this the box for the bronze-level mascot?" She was full of questions and pressed on. "Where did we get so much money? Did you sell the store?" Lam Yuan approached and gently ruffled his sister's hair, advising her not to overthink and to focus on the task at hand. "I believe you can do it." She smiled and nodded obediently. "Yes, brother, don't worry. I won't let your intentions go to waste," she said, opening the box and mentally preparing herself to begin the contract signing ritual. Moments later, the Dai Tiet Ngu was summoned and the crowd around gasped in amazement. "What is that? It's the first time I've seen it. It looks like iron and steel." "It's the Dai Tiet Ngu." Feng Lei maintained a disdainful attitude, clicking his tongue mockingly. "Not bad for a design on the field, but I fear you don't know the distance." Experience in real combat will enhance how much the professional fighter can fight. It's a pity that your Dai Tiet Ngu had to be coaxed out of bankruptcy to get this. So Tu coldly replied, "Who wins and who loses is still unknown." The teacher excitedly cheered, "This is the bronze-level Tijak Tiet Ngu." Furthermore, it has returned to a very primitive characteristic that can be called elite among the defensive spirit beasts, just its rhinoceros horn alone. It has already been priced at 700,000 federal dollars. Lam Vien stood beside, feeling frustrated. His face wore a bitter smile. "Please don't simply evaluate it based on money." The teacher finally restrained herself and sighed. "This is the occupational hazard of a spirit analyst." The battle was unbalanced, with two spirit beasts charging at each other. At first glance, it seemed evenly matched, which made Feng Lahan even more pleased. He mocked, "How naive, your Iron Bull is just a defensive spirit beast. How can you attack so recklessly? Now I will show you the combat power of a strong attack-type spirit beast." The Iron Bull was lifted into the air by the command of its master, the Power King Worm, while So Tu hurriedly reached out to stabilize the Iron Bull. Seeing that the Iron Bull could still get up after the collision, Feng Lahan was a bit surprised. It was just a little short, wasn't it? He silently assessed that it had not been long since signing the contract, yet he could use spirit energy to support the spirit beast. So Tu truly had some talent. The teacher, observing from the outside, was also sweating profusely. "Fortunately, I wasn't directly knocked out of the arena, so Tu thought that was too reckless. Just a little provocation and you actively stepped up to attack. That's really lacking in practical experience." Only Lam Vien understood best. He thought to himself, "No, if that kid had already familiarized himself with the skills of the Iron Bull at the moment of signing the contract, then the active attack. It is a kind of strategy to probe the enemy on the battlefield." The Power King Worm began to fly around the opponent while the students watching were confused and chattered. "What is he doing? The Iron Bull probably can't catch up right, but spinning around like that doesn't seem to have any effect." Hearing those words, Feng Lahan looked down on these fools in his heart. The strong attack-type spirit beast is starting to move. What else could it be for? Of course, it's to find the best opportunity to deliver a fatal blow. Thinking of this, he leisurely mocked, "Can you imagine what you're facing?" Just as he finished speaking, the Power King Worm shot like an arrow into the Iron Bull, dust rising in a cloud. So Tu anxiously shouted, "Iron Bull." The people around also covered their faces, murmuring in concern. "After such a terrible collision, that Iron Bull surely won't." On the opposite side is a strong attack-type spirit beast known for delivering lethal blows in school. The teacher sighed anxiously. Although the Iron Bull was famous for its toughness, So too had tried to use spirit energy to stabilize its state. But even if it withstands the first blow, it will still be tortured to death by the strong attack. Indeed, it's unfair for a 12th grader to fight against a 10th grader. Why doesn't the school understand this? Contrary to everyone's worries, Lam Vien smiled confidently. There's no problem. After all, that skill is precisely the choice for situations like this. Just as he predicted within the cloud of dust, so too shouted, now the Iron Bull activates its exclusive ability to absorb pain. The audience witnessed this strange scene and couldn't comprehend it. What happened? The spirit energy around the Iron Bull has changed. Its wounds are healing. Is that its skill? Its wound is healing. Is that its skill? The teacher's eyes sparkled as she absorbed the pain. She could absorb a portion of the damage and convert it into life force when taking hits. This is a rare exclusive skill. Lam Vien was also quite proud. It was no surprise that this kid, even in his first real battle, was seeing the iron-horned rhino being controlled. However, Fong Lahan was still unconvinced, snorting in disdain. Even with iron skin, it was just a slightly tougher punching bag. At this moment, the Force King bug continued to attack wildly, but no matter how many times it was hit, the iron-horned rhino stood firm like an iron tower. People around began to worry for it. That's really impressive. It's been like this so many times already. Its strength hasn't diminished even a bit. But the iron-horned rhino of So too is completely taking the damage. The teacher was so anxious that she turned to Lam Vien and asked if the iron-horned rhino he chose had no counterattack skills. Why is So too just taking hits and not fighting back? Are you her brother? He helplessly waved his hand and smiled, saying not to rush. Didn't you say So too was compatible with the defensive spirit beast? She must have her own way. On the other side, Fong Lahan was becoming increasingly impatient, shouting orders for the Force King bug to deliver a decisive blow. Using the strongest power of the giant bug, it immediately transformed into a gigantic drill, charging towards So too, having waited for this moment for a long time. She commanded, firmly preparing the iron-horned rhino to use its spikes, watching as the ground was torn up. The onlookers stood in disbelief. No way! Is it really possible to directly use the terrain like this? Lam Vien stood behind, excitedly clenching his fists, secretly praising the clever strategy. But Fong Lahan still dismissed it, shouting commands, only knowing how to use petty tricks. The Force King bug disregarded everything and crashed through the rubble in front of So too, who was not at a disadvantage, skillfully controlling the iron-horned rhino to use its spikes. The two spirit beasts charged at each other, creating a strong shock wave. Everyone couldn't believe that the iron-horned rhino had blocked it. How could they be evenly matched? Clearly, the Force King bug had the advantage before. At this moment, the teacher understood the issue and seized the opportunity to teach her classmates. In fact, the skill of the Force King bug disregards its own injuries to use a self-sacrificing attack, which seems to be targeting the defense of the iron-horned rhino. However, each attack creates a bit of backlash damage to itself. The Force King bug you mentioned is likely specially trained according to its own preferences, Fong. It only pursues maximum attack power and precise locking attacks, thus ignoring the possibility of being blocked by a spirit beast of the same level. Those people just realize that. Lam Vien smiled in delight, appreciating this quick and agile attack training method. It's because it can control the pressure, quickly ending the duel. But if it can't quickly defeat the opponent, the Force King bug will become increasingly difficult to endure. Its body began to tremble, and the audience cheered excitedly. Look, the Force King bug actually slipped. The body starts to tremble, and the audience cheers excitedly. It's great. Look at that, the powerful King bug slipped. It seems that the goddess of luck has stood by the side of the teacher, but she immediately rebutted that it wasn't luck. Although both are spirit beasts when it comes to a long-term battle of strength, the physical balance of an insect-type spirit beast cannot compare to that of a rhinoceros, not to mention that the mental state of the contract signer will also affect. The state of these spirit beasts is all knowledge learned in class. Classmates. At this moment, Fong Lahan began to worry, sweating profusely, grinding his teeth in frustration, at a little girl in the 10th grade who was the first to sign a contract with a bronze-level spirit beast. Now she is even using a defensive spirit beast against the strong attacking spirit beast. Why is heaven playing tricks on me like this? He decided to take a risk. If it was like this, he wouldn't care anymore. This is the normal state in actual combat, don't blame me. Thinking is doing! He shouted loudly. The force of the royal insect extended the distance, directly attacking the girl opposite. Immediately, the royal insect jumped back, its body curling up like a crazy ball. It charged straight towards the teacher, who was stunned and shouted loudly that this was against the rules. Lam Vienne was also startled. It's over, quickly, get out of the way. So too. But the little girl remained confident, her sharp gaze commanding that they continue using the jagged stone against the ground. The great rhinoceros immediately unleashed its skill, and a stone pillar suddenly rose from the ground, striking right into the stomach of the royal insect that was charging forward. The giant bug fell down unconscious. The referee teacher shouted loudly that the royal insect had fallen off the edge of the arena. The outcome was clear. Fong Lahan gaped, his face full of disbelief, as the teacher pointed at So Tu. He declared loudly that the winner was So Tu from the 10th grade. She breathed a sigh of relief, and those around her cheered joyfully. So Tu is amazing, finally a victory. The teacher also happily patted Lam Vienne on the shoulder, praising that it turned out that using the jagged stone multiple times was to accumulate enough magma in the arena, allowing the final use of the jagged stone to have enough power. Turning the royal insect around, it was no wonder that I rated you highly intelligent student. Good job. She turned to Lam Vienne, So Tu's older brother, surprised that he could obtain such a thing. He leaned to avoid the shoulder pat, smiling wryly. Sister, calm down, your strength is too much already. Suddenly, So Tu rushed over and nestled into his arms, sweetly calling brother. He stiffened, patting her back. I saw everything, kid. Congratulations. The little girl pouted and lightly punched his chest, questioning, Brother, where did this money come from? Did you sell our store? What will happen to your illness if there's no money? Have you thought about your health at all? He rubbed her head to reassure her. How could that be? Your brother has recovered. Right now, the business is continuously developing. She looked bewildered, her eyes wide open in disbelief. Really? Suddenly, the teacher stepped forward, interrupting. It shouldn't have been disturbed, but time was pressing. I want to clarify a bit based on So Tu's talent at school, hoping for a recommendation. She will directly participate in the selection for the Bach 2 exam. He immediately nodded. You've mentioned this to me before. The teacher was afraid he didn't understand the importance, so she analyzed further. The selection for the Bach 2 exam is the most basic local selection, ultimately for the qualification to participate in the Huidiu selection. Bach 2 is the national exam, truly top-notch. Even though So Tu is only in the 10th grade now, she is qualified to participate in the talent selection for the Bach 2 exam based on her talent. Yes. The educational resources of the academy will also be fully dedicated to the girl. She will definitely grow very quickly. He looked at his sister with gentle eyes and turned to promise the teacher, Thank you. You have taken care of So Tu for many days. Rest assured, in the future, the spirit beast and resources of So Tu I will do my best to support. The teacher nodded in satisfaction. Nurturing good seeds is also something I should do. She has taken care of the department's spirit for many days. You can rest assured. In the future, the spirit and resources of the department I will do my best to focus on. The teacher nods in satisfaction. Nurturing good seeds is something I should do. In the afternoon, I don't have any classes, so I can take my brother to visit the school. Lam Vienne turned to look at the dog next to the teacher and asked quietly, Excuse me, is that a golden retriever? The teacher smiled and explained, It's okay, I raised it myself. That evening, warm and cozy while shopping, Lam Vienne once again confirmed, Didn't I tell you now I can feel the spiritual energy? What else do you want me to show you? Don't you believe your brother? So Tu still wasn't convinced, mumbling, I need to see it with my own eyes to be reassured. Besides, that rhinoceros horn is very expensive, right? Yes, I have no choice but to open my phone now. You can check it yourself. Seeing the balance in So Tu's account, she was wide-eyed in disbelief. Is that really how much money you earned? Yes, I honestly explained everything. After I recovered my spiritual energy, I had a bit of talent from the founder, and based on that, I received orders and made money. So you can focus on your studies and participate in the selection. If you get a good ranking, you won't need to work at the market to help the family anymore. Your brother is also preparing to participate in the founder's competition. So Tu was overjoyed. Really, that's great. The two continued walking, happily chatting. Lam Vienne excitedly suggested, We should go celebrate. Let's eat something delicious. Do you want to go for hot pot? Whatever you want to eat, I'll order for you. As time passed, Lam Vienne sat on the back of the Black Wind and headed back. In his heart, he began to calculate the studies of the little one who had now entered the right trajectory. He also needed to work harder because the competition wouldn't be easy. After that, he needed to buy all the beginner books for the spiritual beast researcher and the spiritual material analyst. There seemed to be quite a lot, so he would call Thong Min to help. He thought about today's match. In actual combat, although the new skill's counterattack mechanism allowed the little one to seize the opportunity, her spiritual energy was also very stable. This is the foundation for victory. But right now, my spiritual energy is still not enough to be called a true professional spiritual energy. Moreover, if I want to upgrade Mobius's exclusive characteristics, it's really too harsh. I must start from this first level. Suddenly, the black wind soared high and then dropped suddenly. He was startled and asked loudly, "Why did you suddenly fly so fast?" The driver in front turned back and replied, "It's unnecessary to say. I was already late bringing you here. If I don't let you see the maximum speed of the black wind this time, won't I get a bad review?" He was speechless. "But I still have things I want to buy." The driver ignored him. "It's all the same. Ordering on the spiritual network, the ostrich goods could be shipped the same day." A moment later, the bird landed, exhausted, sticking out its tongue. Lam Vienne asked in confusion, "Is your bird okay?" The reputable driver gave a thumbs up. "Don't worry, it's fine. So this trip can be considered a success and the items you wanted have been delivered. Remember to give me a good review." He broke out in a sweat, smiling wryly, I will. It really has been tough." After everything was settled, he turned around to look at the pile of goods in front of him, sighing, "That was fast. Indeed, in this era. Ordering online is the true way. I must build an online store so that I might not need to go to the spirit market anymore, which would be safer." "Hey, I'm back, Thong Min." As soon as I saw him, I rushed over to ask why he was back so late. Thong Min was also teary-eyed, sounding pitiful, saying that we missed him so much. But just as he was about to leap into his owner's arms, he suddenly stopped, letting Am rub its face against Lam Vienne, turning away with crossed arms, sulking, saying, "No, I don't care. I'm angry now." Am, feeling guilty, advised his friend Thong Min not to be angry. "Didn't I take you flying for a long time today?" Lam Vienne reached out to pat the cat's head, saying, all right. Next time I will definitely take you along." But Thong Min still arrogantly swatted his hand away, saying, "I have the right to be angry. 2 days of braised pork won't make me forgive you." Lam Vienne chuckled inwardly, thinking how childish he was, but thankfully he had prepared for this. The sound of the box opening echoed as Lam Vienne slyly muttered, "Thong Min, this is a gift. I'm sorry I specially ordered it for you." The aroma from the canned food wafted out, making Thong Min unable to resist, exclaiming, "Meow, how can I resist something that smells this good?" I must clarify, I'm not angry. I'm just shortening the time I'm angry. "All right, I'm out of options with him. Got it. If you like to eat, I'll buy you something every day." Seeing this, also demanded his share, saying, "Where's mine?" Lam Vienne immediately brought out a pot of plants, saying, "Ta-da! This is a special pot of bamboo for Am. From now on, this pot will be your exclusive food." The bird looked at him judgmentally, grumbling, "Clearly you didn't feed me yesterday." Suddenly, Thong Min turned around and asked, "Hey, Lam Vienne, aren't you eating?" He carried the box of items and called back, "You all eat first. I need to organize the goods first." A while later, Thong Min climbed onto his shoulder, sighing so much, while Lam Vienne was also panting, truly surprised there was so much. Suddenly, Am called out from a pot of plants, "Lam Vienne, it seems there's a slightly different plant here." He looked over, puzzled. "Where is it? Let me check." He picked up the information card for the plant. He was astonished. Buy 100 pots of bamboo, get 1 pot of lily of the valley of the same level, and there's a promotion like that. In his mind, he recalled the requirements of the bracelet and suddenly paused, thinking, wait, lily of the valley, that's right. How could I forget? The spirit beast that suits me is indeed the healing system, the support system, the plant system. His mind felt cleared, and Lam Vienne joyfully lifted the pot of plants, cheering, "This is it." The common-grade healing plant spirit beast already has healing skills. He turned to remind his 2 pets, Thong Min and Am, to temporarily not go upstairs. "Take good care of this bamboo." Going upstairs, he was full of excitement, cracking his knuckles, eager to test out the exclusive skill of spirit release, drawing spiritual energy from his body. He felt a bit tense since he hadn't rested in a long time. His mental energy wasn't in the best state, but he brushed aside the worries, not caring anymore. With the bow drawn, he couldn't not shoot, signing the spirit contract and completing the spirit release. After finishing the task, he looked at the bracelet on his wrist and smiled with satisfaction. It was very good. Unlike before, his mental energy was not depleted at all, just needed to continuously channel spiritual energy into it. Next, he would be able to level up in a chain. An hour later, the information panel appeared larger. Lily Level 1 Elite Quality Elite Healing Skill External Recovery. Lam Vienne wiped the sweat from his forehead and sighed in relief. The level up was complete. Then Mobius must be... The information panel of the bracelet updated right before his eyes. Mobius system. Name Spirit Beast, Mobius type, unknown level 1, elite mysterious spatial system, quality, elite skill. A set of real data digitizing all complex information that the naked eye cannot resolve. The digitized information can encompass the truth, which cannot be seen on the surface. One passive stabilization can enhance the stabilization effect as the Spirit Beast's level increases. Stabilization can calm the mind and has a certain immunity to negative states. Exclusive feature, Spirit Aura. Mobius's space can nurture spirit beasts with the initial level of the nurtured creature in Mobius's space. Cannot exceed the level of Mobius itself. Mobius cannot level up. Its level will increase as the spirit beast is nurtured within it. Leveling up can also grant the initial skills of the spirit beast nurtured within it, but Mobius itself will not gain additional skills upon leveling up. Each time Mobius levels up, it will be able to nurture an additional spirit beast. After reading this, Lam Vien couldn't help but rejoice. Indeed, the level had increased. His mind was immediately drawn into the space. Looking at the lily pot beneath him, he marveled that this was Mobius's spirit aura space. It seemed to have doubled in size compared to before. Suddenly a voice echoed from behind a phantom sound. Lam Vien, can you hear me? He smiled and slowly turned around to respond. I can hear you very clearly. I must have kept you waiting for a long time.